Leonardo da Vinci, he painted the most famous smile in history. He designed flying machines 400 years before flight. He dissected 30 human corpses in secret by candlelight in the basement of a hospital. You know the genius. You don't know the man. Leonardo da Vinci was born illegitimate, the unacknowledged son of a Florentine notary in 1452. He could not attend university. He could not join a guild under his own name. Every door that polite society used to confer genius was closed to him. So he built his own doors. And the psychology behind how he did it is far stranger and far darker than the hagiography we teach in schools. Leonardo left approximately 20 paintings finished in his entire lifetime. 20. For comparison, Picasso left over 20,000 works. Da Vinci's patrons spent decades begging him to complete commissions he had abandoned. The Duke of Milan threatened him. The Pope complained about him in writing. The question modern psychologists ask is not why he was a genius. The question is, why was he incapable of finishing what he started? What Leonardo did finish was his notebooks. Over 7,000 pages survive. They contain designs for solar power, hydraulic machines, a robotic knight, detailed studies of the human circulatory system more accurate than anything produced for the next 2 centuries. He wrote them in mirror script, right to left. Some scholars say this was to prevent theft. Others believe it was simply how his left-handed brain organized information most naturally. He never published a single page of them. Here is what the textbooks leave out. Leonardo's relentless curiosity had a shadow. He was pathologically unable to distinguish between what he needed to know and what he simply wanted to know. He would spend weeks studying the geometry of water ripples when a painting was due. He dissected the faces of hanged criminals the night before a church commission needed to be delivered. His curiosity was not a gift. It was a compulsion. And it cost him almost everything. Modern creativity research has a term for what Da Vinci was: a system outsider. Someone who, precisely because they cannot access the established channels of a field, is forced to build entirely new frameworks from raw observation. Leonardo had no formal education in anatomy, engineering, or optics. What he had was the willingness, the compulsion to look at everything with the eyes of someone who had not been taught what to see. He had close relationships with few people. His notebooks contain thousands of observations about nature, light, water, and the human body. They contain almost nothing about his inner emotional life. One entry, written near the end of his life in Milan, reads simply, "I have wasted my hours." A man who could see 4 centuries into the future. And he spent his final years believing he had failed. Here is the truth that the genius mythology obscures. Leonardo da Vinci was not superhuman. He was a man with a specific, identifiable cognitive profile, extraordinary observational memory, hyper-associative thinking, insatiable curiosity, and a near-total inability to filter relevance. These traits are not rare. They exist in children who are told they cannot sit still, in students who are marked down for going off topic, in adults who start 17 projects and finish none. The difference between Leonardo and the rest of us was not the traits themselves. It was the era he lived in, the patrons who tolerated him, and the discipline he eventually slowly, painfully learned to direct. Modern neuroscience calls what Leonardo practiced associative thinking, the ability to connect ideas across radically different domains. His study of water currents directly informed how he painted flowing hair. His anatomical dissections shaped how he understood the mechanics of light on skin. The question his life asks us is not whether we have genius. The question is, what are we not allowing ourselves to look at? Because we've been told it's off topic. Leonardo da Vinci died in 1519 in the arms of the King of France, who had given him a small chateau and the freedom to think without commission. He left behind 7,000 pages of private thought that the world would not fully understand for 4 centuries. He was not a god. He was a man who refused sometimes at great personal cost to stop looking. The question is what you're refusing to look at. If that changed how you see creativity, there's a video on what his notebooks reveal about the neuroscience of ideas that will go even deeper.